Yeah, so I think we'll do away with the introductions which we had made. It is now confirmed that Albert Ojwang was killed. The postmortem has been conducted, and it confirms that he did not die out of self-inflicted injuries, but he died of multiple injuries to his body arising from a third party. We, as members of parliament, also serving in the committee in charge of internal security, and under which committee the National Police Service falls, we want to make the following demands. Number one, we want the public to be told who instructed the arrest of Ojwang from his home in Migori County. Who instructed his being moved from Migori County to Nairobi, when we have competent police stations and competent police officers all across from Migori to Nairobi. Why had he to be moved from Migori to Nairobi? We want to know, and we want the IG to inform the nation immediately which officers effected the claimed arrest. Because from what is now confirmed, this was not an arrest. You arrest people to take them to court, not to enable their death. So we want by name the officers who went to the home of Albert Ojwang and picked him while he was having lunch with his family, taking him away from his family. Who were the officers? We want to know what happened between Migori, where Albert Ojwang was picked, to Nairobi. What happened in between there? And that we can only confirm if the officers by name are made known to the public. We want to know the officers to whom Albert Ojwang was handed over for what we've been told was interrogation at the DCI in Mazingira, and the nature of interrogation they engaged in. We want to know under whose instructions Albert Ojwang was taken for booking at Central Police Station against all those nearby police stations to the DCI headquarters. We have Muthaiga, we have Parklands, we have several there. Why was Central Police Station, picked for purposes of his booking? The Central Police Station is surrounded by CCTVs and other facilities. We want the recordings of the entry of Albert Ojwang to Central Police Station made public, and all the CCTV recordings in terms of how he was handled there, how he moved from the point of his entry into that station to the exit. But most importantly, we are demanding, we know there was a decision spoken to by the IG yesterday to have interdicted all officers who were at Central Police Station and could have had a role or some role in the handling of Albert Ojwang in any way or knowledge. We don't want only those officers. We want all officers who were involved in any way, whether they are the officers who were arrested, whether they are the officers who were at Central Police Station, whether they are the officers who interrogated, because this interrogation apparently has now led to death, and your guess could be as good as mine. It is now confirmed by the report that the gentleman was tortured and was killed while in custody of the police. So we want all police officers who are involved in this matter in any way not to wait to be interdicted, but to, resign if possible, or action be taken by the National Police Service Commission, which is in charge of disciplinary control over the police, to direct their immediate, suspension from the service. And we are making this demand as members of the Security Committee in the National Assembly so that these investigations can be thorough, so that these investigations can be impartial, unlimited, and unhindered, so these investigations can bring to book every police officer who is involved in this matter, which has jolted the nation in a very big way. And so we are demanding that that must happen. We also want to demand that this far we have reached has taken too long. We want to request the IG that soonest possible, we want everybody who was involved in this matter before the courts of law, so that the reforms we've been speaking about in relation to our police, which have been stagnating, can continue to the end. We cannot be a country whose constitution requires the police to always proceed while respecting the human rights of the people, making 2-3 steps backwards and making 50 backwards. And so that is the demand we are making, those 3 demands. And we are saying as members of the committee and members of parliament that we contemplate action in the directions we have demanded, not beyond by end of business tomorrow. If it goes beyond tomorrow, we'll now intervene in our respective capacities, and particularly in our oversight role, to enforce particular actions, which I would request the IG and the people in charge of the control of the police not to let us to go towards, because we want this thing concluded. This death has hurt the country in a very big way, and as members here, we do not only sympathize with the family of the late Albert Ojwang, but we condole them. It is easy to talk of justice, but it is very difficult to think of justice to parents who had one child who was taken from them and has ended up in death in this manner. It is very difficult to speak the word of justice to the young wife of Albert Ojwang, just as it is also impossible to explain to that infant Ojwang has left behind that the infant will never grow with a father, whom I don't think the child has even reached the level of recognition. In the meantime, let us also request the police that the Constitution is clear on how policing should be done. Please adhere to those values governing the security. Respect for human rights, having limits. We cannot have a situation where the police go overboard and then the independence of the police is taken to blame other officers. We must have a stop. And when we say there must be a stop and we must have a police acting in accordance with the Constitution, we don't say it for the sake of it. We want to see a change of attitude in the National Police Service. When you arrest a person, they have rights. It should not end so. We thank you very much. My colleagues will add.
It is important that we note that the results of the autopsy is already out, and that Albert Ojwang did not kill himself, as was initially suggested. And for that matter, it is a mockery of justice to still have the person who had actually lodged the initial complaint on behavior of Albert to still be sitting as part of a team that is investigating the death of Albert. As a mother, and for all the women of this country, it is important that that officer steps aside or resigns to allow meaningful investigation to go on. That is the plea that the mothers of this country have.
To what my colleagues have said, but I want to speak to the police of this country, that they are Kenyans like any other person. They got an opportunity to be policemen. We have teachers, we have nurses, we have doctors like any other Kenyans serving other Kenyans. Let them not be misused. Let them refrain from doing things which they were not trained in their curriculum. Everybody who is a suspect has a right. There's nowhere in the Constitution where even somebody who was murdered is supposed to be murdered. They must go through trial so that they can be found guilty in the court of law. So I want to talk to the police of Kenya that Kenya need each and every one of us. We need a peaceful country. We need a country where people are given hope. We need a country where when you see a police officer, when you are in trouble, you see somebody who can help you. We don't want the image of police to continue to be distracted or be destroyed by few individuals in the police service. That is going to end up tarnishing name of each and every, because I believe not all police officers in Kenya killed Albert Ojwang. They are few. So it is high time, even IPOA, we want them to give a statement on their interim investigation, because they are the people who are being given public money to do oversight of police actions. So by now, we expect that they need to give us the interim report now that the post-mortem has confirmed that Albert did not kill himself. As a member of parliament and as a Kenyan, I want to say that it is quite unfortunate. We don't expect this one to continue because today it is Albert. We don't know who it will be after Albert. It can be me, it can be my son, my daughter, my neighbor, your daughter, even as a police officer. Nowadays, these young people, all of them own phones. If you're a police officer, you can get your own son, your own daughter doing the same. We need to give Kenyans hope because things are not good worldwide. We don't expect such a thing to continue. So our demand is that justice to be done to the family of Albert Ojwang. Then we stop it. Let Albert Ojwang be the last person to be tortured and killed in our police station. We don't invest money in the National Police Service so that they can bring to us such a results. But we are not condemning all police officers. We are very particular about these officers who participated in this killing of Albert Ojwang. Let them be brought to book, especially those who interrogated him, those who took him from his home, and we need to know, we need to be told the journey from where he was picked to where he was interrogated to Central Police Station. And we must be told why it was not Mutaiga Police Station. Why was it Central Police Station? What is so special about Central Police Station, but not other nearby police station with the DCIO? Thank you.
I want to add one or 2 points to what my colleagues have said. I do agree. The most important thing, this particular incident should be investigated speedily. And we urge the IG and we urge the IPOA to give their interim report as soon as possible. And also, I want to urge that the culprits should be taken to court immediately. We know, of course, for sure, majority of the police officers may be innocent and they are doing their good job. But the culprits that are fond of this kind of things, they have not been trained to do torture. I know I'm speaking that from the background that I'm one of those who trained some of these officers some years back. They are trained to obey and ensure that they comply with the law, that they respect the human rights, that they carry out their duties in a way that brings confidence and trust from the public. So I think as far as we are concerned, the current police service is a service. It is not a force like prior to the Constitution 2010, it was a police force, but the public and the citizens of Kenya passed the constitution with the emphasis on service delivery to the public. So I want to urge the police officers carry on their duties with the mind of service to the public, so that we have that confidence from the citizen. And the few that happen to do some of these criminal acts, those criminal acts should be punished severely. And therefore, we want to urge speedy investigation, and then the culprits be brought before the court. Thank you.
With my colleague here, Honorable Amina Mnyanzi, representing Malindi constituency in Kilifi County. We are here today to give a small press on the murder of Albert Ojwang Ojwang. Ladies and gentlemen, fellow Kenyans and defender of justice, today we stand before you with a heavy heart, mourning the tragedy and untimely death of Albert Ojwang Ojwang, a 31-year-old teacher, father, and a vibrant voice of our nation. His life was cut short on June 8, 2025, under circumstances that raise questions about the state of human rights in our beloved Kenya. Albert was arrested on June 6, 2025, at his family home in Homa Bay for social media, which was alleged that critical of a senior police official. Within 48 hours, he was dead. Let it be clear that Albert's death is a grave human rights violation. The discrepancies in the police timeline, knowing that he was kept for more than 24 hours, which is required by the law. The disappearance of Albert's social media accounts, and the refusal to allow his family access to the cell where he died deepen our distrust. These inconsistencies are not oversight, because we don't know why the family were not allowed to access the cell and visit the said Albert Ojwang Ojwang. The Independent Policy Oversight Authority, IPOA, and the Kenya National Commission on Human Rights must expedite the investigation without fear or favor. Every day that passes without answers is a day justice is delayed, and justice delayed is justice denied. To our fellow leaders, let us not be complicit by silence. The blood of Albert Ojwang cries out for accountability. We must amplify the voices of civil society, the Amnesty Kenya, the Law Society of Kenya, Haki Africa, and countless others who stand and continue standing with Albert's family. We must honor the youth marching under justice for Ojwang, whose courage reminds us that the fight for human rights is the fight for our future. This is not a Homa Bay issue or a Nairobi issue. It is a Kenyan issue, a human rights issue. We are just wondering why Ojwang was arrested in Homa Bay. And in Homa Bay, we have police stations, we have cell where maybe he could have been taken there, and maybe within a span of 24 hours, he could have taken for trial, because that is what the law says if somebody has done any crime or any offense. And for us here, he was just arrested from his home, and we are just told that he had put some blogging which maybe offended a certain officer. Ladies and gentlemen, we are saying expedite the investigation, and that is the DCI and Kenya as a government, deliver justice, protect our rights for Albert. When you protect the rights for Albert, you're protecting the rights for humanity. And we are saying whoever did that, those who are the perpetrator, those who are in charge, or those who took part, and that is, we don't want to say who he was, but it is upon the DCI and the investigation agencies to tell us who is responsible for the death of our son, Albert Ojwang Ojwang. Please, we need justice. We need justice for Ojwang. And we are calling upon the police officers. We trust you to protect the lives of Kenyans. We trust you to protect the properties for Kenya. Because in our constitution, we have a clause which protects the lives for Kenyans. Every Kenya has a right to life, and nobody is there to take any life for any person or any Kenyans. So we need to be told. There was that narrative that he committed suicide, which the family lawyer has refused that narrative, and he has said it is not the reason why Ojwang died. So we need to get the truth and nothing but the truth, and we need to get justice for our son Albert Ojwang. Lazima hivi sasa wangeachishwa kazi kwa muda, ama waambiwe kwanza wakae kando ndio uchunguzi uweze kufanywa, ijulikane ya kwamba ukweli ni nini, kwa sababu saizi wakiwa wako pale pengine wanaweza kufanya manipulation na ukweli usijulikane. Kwa hivyo kwa hivi sasa wangepatiwa hata wiki moja wakae kando kiasi, uchunguzi uweze kuchunguzwa, iangaliwe ya kwamba ukweli ni nini na kifo cha Albert Ojwang kilitokana na nini. Sisi kama kina mama ambao tunabeba mimba na tunazaa watoto, tunazaa vijana, tunajua sasa hivi rais amesema ya kwamba yuko tayari kuongea na vijana, yuko tayari kuleta umoja. Kwa hivyo maofisa wa polisi, msibebe misalaba mikubwa, misalaba ambayo hatuelewi na hatuelewi ilienda vipi ama ilienda vipi. So DCI na zile investigation agencies zote, mtuambie ukweli, what happened. Ni masikitiko, baba ya Ojwang anasema alikuwa akichimba mawe, amechimba mawe mpaka mikono yake imemea sugu, mpaka ameingia maradhi kusomesha mtoto, na mtoto amefika katika productive stage. Alikuwa mwalimu, anasaidia familia, maybe he was the breadwinner because the father is an old man, alafu maisha yake yanapotea basi pasi na kuelewa ni sababu gani ilifanya paka kifo chake kikapatikana. Tunataka ukweli, tunataka haki, na tunasema jamani, human rights is the right for human beings and it need to be protected. Lazima haki za kimsingi za binadamu ikiwemo haki ya maisha lazima ilindwe, na si tafadhali, haki ya Wakenya lazima ilindwe.
Na leo tunasimama hapa na tunalaani vikali kifo cha Albert Ojwang, mchambuzi maarufu wa mitandao ya kijamii ambaye alipoteza maisha akiwa chini ya ulinzi wa mapolisi katika kituo kikuu cha polisi cha Nairobi mnamo Jumapili tarehe 8 Juni mwaka wa 2025. Ojwang alikamatwa Ijumaa katika kaunti ya Homa Bay kwa madai ya kuchapisha taarifa za uongo dhidi ya afisi wa polisi. Alisafirishwa kwa usiku mzima hadi Nairobi, safari ya zaidi kilomita 400 bila kufikishwa mahakamani, na alizuiliwa zaidi ya masaa 48, ambacho hiyo mnajua kabisa ni kinyume cha sheria. Jumapili asubuhi akiwa korokoroni, Ojwang alipiga simu kwa rafiki yake akiwa na hofu, akiuliza nitakuwa salama kweli humu ndani. Takriban saa moja baadaye alikuwa amekufa. Polisi walidai alijigonga ukutani na kufariki, madai ambayo yamepingwa na wakili wa familia aliyethibitisha kuwepo kwa majeraha kichwani, mikononi na mabegani, ishara ya kupigwa na kujitetea. Tunakaribisha hatua ya Inspector Generali wa polisi kuwaachisha kazi kwa muda maafisa wote waliokuwa zamu usiku huo pamoja na uchunguzi wa IPOA. Hata hivyo, hatua hizo hazitoshi bila uwazi, ukweli na uwajibikaji wa kweli kwa wote walihusika. Jambo la kwanza ambalo sisi tunataka ni ripoti kamili ya uchunguzi wa mwili, ama kwa kimombo inaitwa postmortem, ichapishwe kwa wazi ili kuwe na uwazi, wananchi waweze kuelewa ni jambo gani ambalo liliendelea. Jambo la pili ambalo tunataka ni uchunguzi wa haraka na wakina wa mazingira ya kukamatwa kwa kifo cha Ojwang. Kama vile juzi ambapo tuliona mbunge mwenzetu Mheshimiwa Were alipofariki, hii uchunguzi wake haikuchukua muda, tayari Wakenya wakapata ripoti. Hata kifo cha huyu kijana Ojwang pia tunataka maofisa wa mapolisi waweze kuharakisha haraka, tuweze kujua kinaga ubaga ni jambo gani ambalo lilitokelezea mpaka tukaweza kupoteza huyu kijana wetu. Jambo la tatu, tunataka CCTV za seli zifanywe hadharani na zisiharibiwe kwa namna yoyote. Ya nne, tunataka zichukuliwe hatua za kisheria dhidi ya wote waliohusika katika ukiukiaji huu wa haki za kibinadamu. Na kifo cha Ojwang si tukio la kwanza, bali ni sehemu ya mtindo wa ukatili na ukiukaji wa haki unaofanywa na baadhi ya maafisa wa usalama dhidi ya raia wasio na hatia. Tunatoa wito kwa jamii nzima na Wakenya wasimame kidete kudai haki na kuwajibika kwa vyombo vyetu vya usalama. Haki kwa Ojwang, stop police brutality na uwajibikaji hivi sasa. Asanteni sana Mheshimiwa Amina Mnyazi.
Tunasema ya kwamba wale polisi waliokuwa katika
More Radio 88.2 FM. We are in charge.